like, I've got all this stuff and I just don't want to do it. That is a response of the ego. Why don't we want to do it? The ego, as long as it can keep these things in your subconscious, feels like it can keep you safe by hiding these things, but they are operating and affecting you on an unconscious level, very much under the surface, deep, deep layers, making you react a certain way. Generally, anyone who's got some shadow stuff coming up, some unconscious stuff, some old woundings, some childhood trauma, some inner child things coming up, the first reaction of the ego is to not face it, to run from it, right? Like, no, I don't want to do it. And the ego really wants us to avoid, to ignore, to leave it hidden in the deep recesses of our psyche. When you allow your shadows, your fears, your traumas, your woundings to stay hidden in the unconscious, they have control of you. They are driving the bus called your life. So why do we want to bring them up purposely, consciously? Why do we want to pull it out and expose it? Do you guys remember Kodak film way back? But in real film cameras, 35 millimeter cameras or the like, there was the little roll of film. You put it in the camera, and the last thing you wanted to do was expose that film to light, because then the negatives would be exposed to light. And what happened? The pictures got erased, right? Anything you took on your camera from those pictures, if the film got exposed to the light, it ruined the whole roll. All of the pictures disappeared because the light burned through them. So what are you doing when you're digging this stuff up right now? As much as it's scary and it's like, oh my God, that's a lot of stuff, a lot of traumas, a lot of stuff from the past. You are literally taking it out of the deep unconscious where it actually has power over you and is affecting you on a mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual level. And you're exposing it to the light and you're going, you have no power because now I can see you. You knowing what it is that light. And what is it doing? It's erasing the negatives. See how that works? So do that work. Stop avoiding it. I know it's scary. I know it doesn't feel good. And oh my God, it's not comfortable, but that is what the planet needs us to do. Those of you who are light workers, light bringers, even more so, and conscious beings committed to your self-growth, committed to being the highest, best version of yourself, this is the work we must continue to do on ourselves, because as we clean it up in here and we clean it up in here, we clean it up out there in the way we express, in the way we engage. And man, it's messy when you're going through it. And I mean, you will feel crazy. Trust me. Like, I'm sure you guys already know this. Like, you start to feel like you're losing your mind or that you're damaged goods, and you're not damaged goods. It's these things that came at you as a child when you weren't able to process, and programs from society and programs from your parents and things genetically handed down, and family beliefs, generational curses handed down. But we want to uncover it. We want to unearth it. And we want to expose all of that to the light so that it can be erased. So that negative can just be taken out of it. The emotions get removed from it when we actually see it from an adult perspective and a conscious place. Then we get to choose. I still have those events. Yes, they happened, but the negative charge emotionally no longer has to affect the way I think, the way I engage, the way I respond, the way I react. It does not, the minute you can see it. And that's what we're doing when we dig that stuff up. If you want to grow, you have to do it. You have to do it. And man, when you're going through it, you feel like you're falling apart and it's all like, oh my God. It's beautiful what comes out of it. That is transformation. You guys ask me over and over again, how am I so strong and how can I tackle so much between illness and abuse and neglect as a child and fighting the world with my gifts and having to come on and be very transparent and out there with my life. It's because I've done this process repeatedly. And this is a whole other layer. This is the stuff I've been waiting for it to bubble up, and here it is. Thank you, God. I'm learning so much more. And it is just that up leveling. And I've been manifesting on, I've been teaching Charm Life some very advanced techniques with manifesting. And it is the deeper work that we have to do to allow ourselves to up level and not settle. The ego doesn't want us to know. The deep unconscious stuff does not want to be uncovered because it is the negative. And when you expose the negative to light, it doesn't exist anymore. And the ego is afraid of not existing. And the ego really is just the filters. They're just perception filters. It's what gives us the ability to make free will choices, and the ego resides in a place of protection and fear and doubt. But, the ego is there for a purpose. It helps us with fight or flight when, danger is afoot. The ego kicks us into response mode, reaction mode. It's just we want to be in control of our ego. We don't want it in control of us. Not everybody's going to transform their shadows into light. Not everybody is willing to do the work to face their fears. Not everybody's willing to let go of the past and move into the future in a very different way. Not everybody is willing to let the ego go and come from a place of love and light and purity and honesty and transparency. Not everybody can, because that's what allows the contrast of this planet, that it gives us the free will to say, yes, I will, or no, I won't. And that's okay. Not everybody has to, but if they choose not to, then it's our choice. Do I walk with you or do I not? I can love you from a distance, right? Like I've had to do that with so many people in my life. I still love them, but love them from a distance, because knowing they're not either willing or able to do that work for themselves in their lives or at that time. And if it negatively impacts you, to the point where it really interferes with your walk of what you're trying to accomplish in life and showing up as light and love, and I'm not trying to be all airy-fairy about this. Seriously, this is hard stuff. And setting boundaries in play for your life is very difficult when you love people, and when you trust them or you want to, and you want to create some sort of a relationship with them. Interpersonal relationships are in focus right now. Our own internal stuff is in focus right now. So take this stuff on, take it on, and do so to the best of your ability. And if you feel like you're getting sucked into the visions of the past, your fears, your shadows, you don't know how to work yourself out, either schedule a one-on-one with me or get into one of my classes and work with me.